Well, I had a whole different message a few minutes ago. So, have your Bibles turned to John chapter 5. Father, in the name of Jesus, God, Lord, as I come before you tonight, I pray, Lord God, Lord, that you anoint these lips to pray, God, that you have me speak only the words, God, that you brought forth tonight, God, that will uplift somebody, that will touch somebody, that will bless somebody, God, that will encourage somebody. Father God, anything, Lord God, Lord, that I say out of my mouth, God, that is not of you, God, can lead somebody astray. And Father God, I don't want that pressure on my life, God. God, I need to know, God, that I'm saying only what you can say. Father, in the name of Jesus, I praise and I thank you. In John chapter 5, after this, there was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went out to Jerusalem. Now there is at Jerusalem, by the sheep market, a pool, which is called in Hebrew tongue Bethesda, having 5 porches. In these lay a great multitude of impotent folk, of blind, halt, withered, waiting for the moving of the water. For an angel went down at a certain season into the pool and troubled the water. Whosoever then first after the trouble of the water stepped in was made whole of whatsoever disease he had. And a certain man was there, which had an infirmity 38 years. When Jesus saw him lie, and knew that he had been now a long time, in that case he said unto him, Wilt thou be made whole? When I got here tonight, I had planned on using completely different text, but God changed that all. My wife saw Brother Hagee preach not too long ago about promises, problems, and provisions. And I thought, oh, that sounds like a really good message. And she went on to explain some of it. It was a pretty good message. I enjoyed what she had to say. But I hadn't applied it to my own life. So she was talking, and something happened yesterday, and so she started again, promises, problems, and provisions. And I thought, She said, God answered a promise that he gave me. My wife and I, we have been back in Oklahoma City for 7 years. We gave up a beautiful home in Texas to move back to Oklahoma City. And for whatever reasons, that house wouldn't sell. I mean, we practically gave it away. We walked away with nothing just to get out from under that humongous payment. And I just told Gail, I said, you know, it's going to take us probably the rest of our lives to ever save up enough money to put a down payment on a house again to be able to have our own home again. So we're probably going to rent till we die. You know, that's just the way it's going to be. Our kids are just going to get whatever few dollars we have in the bank account. That's just going to be it. Any life insurance that we have, they'll have that, and that'll be all they'll get. And my wife pointed out promises that God has given me. And you're going to have problems, which I kept looking at the problem. I kept looking like this man here. This man looked at the fact that he couldn't walk. He couldn't get himself up off his mat, make it down to that pole, or get down there and push somebody over just a little bit more just so he could squeeze in to get his toe in that water after the second the angel troubled that water. So, I kept looking at the problem like he was. That's my problem. But he knew the promise of if you get in that water, you're going to be made whole. So, God had to provide him a different way. I mean, we've all heard that song, A Different Way. God does all these things in a different way. God does everything in His way.
Yeah.
I don't like it sometimes when He does things His way because it's not going fast as I want it to go. It don't go the way I want it to go. It's like living where we've been living. I've been paying the same amount of rent that I paid for that house in Texas, and I was just like, God, I am tired of paying this big old thing, and I've got nothing to show for it. And every time a hailstorm comes, it knocks siding off the house, and they just leave it off. So the house looks worse and worse, and all of my neighbors, I've been there so long, a lot of them think, well, he owns that house, and look how bad he takes care of it. I mean, you know, and my yard, my wife and I, we put out all of the weed and feed and all the stuff trying to keep the junk from growing up in my yard, and it just keeps getting bigger. I mean, you know, if the weeds were to die in my yard now, there'd be nothing left but dirt. You know? So, God provides provisions for things if we will let God do things in His time. So, when my wife said we have to look toward God's promise and not the problem, because He will provide when it is right.
That's right.
And it's not going to be whenever you're ready for it. My daughter, whenever she was looking for a house, she was having problems coming up with down payment money, and so she told her realtor, I'm not looking anymore. My wife and I, we went house hunting with my brother and his wife here in Oklahoma, and talking to the different realtors and stuff, we found out about this one thing. So my wife told my daughter when she came up, she went back to Texas and didn't take too much of it. The realtor lady called her and said, hey, I've got a house you really need to see. Nope, can't do it, don't want to look at it, can't do it. Didn't talk anymore about it. Well, that real estate woman was persistent. Kept calling her, kept coming after her to do it. So she finally came in and said, okay, we'll go look at the house. They go look at the house, and she fell in love with the house. I'd really like to have this house, but you know, we don't have down payment money. And my mom was telling about this program and that program, and she goes, well, this house qualifies for that program. So she got into that house for little to nothing for the house, because she wasn't focusing on the problem anymore. She was looking toward the promises and waiting for God to provide. Amen. She gets the house and the devil comes in. Oh no, you're not going to be blessed like that, girlfriend. We're going to fix this right now. Destroyed her septic tank system, which she did not know that she had. She thought she had city everything, and it did not. So she tried to get them to do their thing. They didn't want to. They just argued back and forth. And finally, she listened to her mother and I. We said, honey, just let God have it. Just give it to Him and forget about it. He will take care of it. He will. But I need it done today. I said, well, let God do it. Well, I'm going to take him to court, and I'm going to do da-da-da-da-da-da, all this song and dance. Finally, she listened to Mom and Dad, gave it to God, and God miraculously, they had the little meeting. He agreed to pay so much. The realtor paid so much, and then all of a sudden money just started falling into their laps from every direction. They got a huge tax refund. Got the thing put in, got all new sod over it. It looks like a brand new home again. So she's all happy again. So, you know, Gail and I were talking, God does that for our daughter. He's already delivered her from death's door. He blessed her with a home. He's going to take care of us too. Yeah. So we go out looking for a house, and not going to walk away. Our realtor also persistent, also a Christian. Like, no, I really feel God's want me to show you a house. And God said, Steve, I really like to look at this house. I said, well, we can go look, but we don't have any down payment. We can't do anything. She called. We go look. Dad and I both walked around this house, fell in love with this home. Oh, this is it. This reminds us of where we came from in Texas. This is perfect. This is what we want. We decided, okay, God, if it's your will, you just make things happen. Amen. All of a sudden, doors started swinging open. Things just started just click, 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 because it went according to God's plan. Not according to Steve Campbell's plan, Now, see, Campbell's plan, we've still been sitting over there waiting for the day we can save our pennies and nickels to get enough money to put down on a house, because that's just the way I am. My wife, she's the dreamer. She's the one that says, God will provide. All we have to do is step out. You just have to take your foot up and pick it up like you're going to step out, and God will take care of the rest. And I am the stubborn one. I'm like, no, I don't know how firm that bridge is. I'm not getting out on it. I mean, we've all seen those movies where they have that, what is it, Raiders of the Lost Ark, where they had that bridge going across to the cave, you know, and it looked like a pretty rickety bridge, but he took off walking. He had the faith that he's going to get across. This fat guy would have went, nope, I'll wait on this side. You tell me how it is over there. God provides if we will elect him. He answers all of his promises, just like he did this man. He answered the man's promise because he came down and touched him and made him whole. Get up and go. So he did it. You know, it is the same for us. Everybody in this room has been given the promise of salvation. Right? Amen. All we have to do is say, Jesus, forgive me. Let me be your child. I know that you are God Almighty, that you are the one. And he will forgive you, open the doors to everything for you. You don't have to worry about being sick, because he'll heal you, just like he healed Sister Miller. Amen. Now, he may let, like he did her, she didn't get that instant miracle healing. Lord, you're healed and made whole in the name of Jesus, where she just walked out to church, just dancing in the spirit, I'm healed, I'm made whole. He let her go home and let her kind of wallow in it all night. But when she got up to go out the next day, she walked out that door and all their problems stayed behind her. Yes. Just like they're supposed to do for us. We are not supposed to drag these things with us. I've heard Richard say, once, I've heard him say it 1,000 times, when you get up from the altar, leave your stuff there. If you want to carry it around like a big old suitcase, well, that's your prerogative. That is your choice. That is your problem. God gave you the provision to leave it there. Amen. You don't want to, carry it with you. But I'm going to tell you, God's promise is salvation. The problem is you. That problem is you. That problem is Gayla. That problem, Brother Jimmy. That problem is Richard. That problem is me. But what we do with that problem determines where we're going to spend eternity. I've heard him say a lot recently, wherever your mind is when you go, that's where you're going to go. So you've got to make sure that you're stayed up and got your mind focused upon the Lord. Amen. And you don't got to worry about it, because you know when you go, you're going on. Yeah. You know? I mean, he says when you go to the hospital, you're going to be healed by God, you're going to go on to heaven and be with God, or the doctor's going to fix it up or whatever and you're going to leave, okay? 3 ways you're going to be made fine. You're Christian, right? Amen. Now, if you're not Christian, you got 2 things here. You're either going to maybe get well by a doctor, or you're going to go straight on down. Crispy or non-crispy, that's your choice. We make those decisions. That's my decision, that's your decision. A lot of us have been on that side of the bed. A lot of us have been laying over there going, Lord. I mean, I know when I was laying in that emergency room and I was having a hard time catching my breath, and I'm just like, Lord, I don't understand what's going on. I'm too young for this heart stuff. This just can't be. And the doctor said, well, it is, and you got it. So since then, I've had to say, hey, Doc, I don't got it because God made me whole. I am healed. I don't have a heart condition. I don't have congestive heart. That is all what the devil is trying to bog me down with. I don't choose to accept that. We don't have to accept anything in this world that is not of God. If you do, that is your choice. You get upset with somebody and you let them, I can't really say they force you to walk away, because it is your decision to walk away. It is your decision to turn your back upon God and walk. Because God, I mean, it's like, I heard this preacher when I was growing up, driving down the road. He gets married, his little sweetie sat right up next to him in the car. That's back before all the bucket seats had worked. She sat right up next to him, boy, and they're just driving down the road, all lovey-dovey, everything just wonderful. A little while later, here comes a little baby. The little baby goes in between them. And then before you know it, they got two kids in between them, and before you know it, the kids are in the back seat, and she's still over here, and he's still over here. And she looks at him one day, and she goes, "Why don't we sit next to each other?" He goes, "I don't know. The steering wheel's right here. I'm still in the same spot I've always been." That's right. You're the one that moved over. That's the way it is with us and God. God is always there. That's right. He's always standing. He's always got his hand out. "Okay, I'm ready." That's right. "Just let me put my arm around you. Let me show you." "Well, you want to keep going that way? Okay, I'll wait." I mean, we've all heard the hold the door stuff. Well, there's going to come a time God ain't going to hold that door no more. He's going to be like, "Door closed, lost your chance." Kind of like those 10 virgins. 5 were foolish, 5 were wise. 5 carried their lambs and forgot all. The other 5, I mean, when I pack, I'm a planner kind of person. I lay out, I'm going to wear this slacks and that shirt, those socks, I need these underclothes, and then this day I'm going to wear this, this, and this, and this, and this day I'm going to wear this, this, and this, and then I put it all in the suitcase, so when I get where I'm going, I got everything I need. Now, my last trip, I packed everything. I got there, I couldn't find my socks. I don't know what happened to those socks. But when I got home and I'm cleaning out my suitcase and throwing all the dirty clothes, I found those socks. That suitcase was bone dry empty. They were not there. So I just figured, demon of hell stole my socks. So I put navy blue socks with the burgundy dots on them better than I did. So I just blamed that on him. I thought, well, I'm not taking the blame for that because I know I put them in there. It is the same when you get saved. You know you're saved. You're sure you're sitting in that chair, you're saved. And you are saved. But if you change your mind and get up and walk away, God is still at the table waiting. He's still got his big feast right here waiting for you to come in. All you got to do is come and dine. That's one of the things that I really like about going to church is I get to go eat. As you can tell, I love to eat. And I hate to walk. Yesterday I have a visitor with me all this week, and Richard called and said, "Hey, I'm going to let you preach Wednesday night." I'm like, "Okay, no problem, I will." And then that guy's there, I'm like, "Oh Lord, how am I going to study? I mean, what am I going to do? Oh Lord Jesus, what am I going to do?" I mean, he's there, so I can't just say, look over here on the computer, look something up. I can't take my Bible out, flip through and find something because God gave it to me right then. Because he's over there watching and writing down all the stuff I'm supposed to be learning. Well, I kind of went, "Lord, this is your thing. If I go to church and I get up there and I stand there going, everybody's going to be looking, Lord, I'm going to be saying, this is what the Lord gave me. And God's like, I'm not going to let you get up there and look stupid. You listen to me, I'll put every word in your mouth and you'll say what I want you to say. And people will be touched, people will be blessed, people will be healed, people will be made whole if they want it." Amen. That's right. That's what we've got to do. We have to create that desire within ourselves because God has already given it to us. He has already provided everything we need right here. Amen. The basic instructions before leaving this earth are all right here. We were in here a couple of weeks ago. Believe it or not, Sister Dolores, I was here for Sunday school and I was on time. And you weren't here. We made it here and they're teaching. And they're teaching about this man. And the horrible thing that he did to his wife, he just threw his wife out to the wolves and then she died. And it's like, My Lord, that's such an awful story. God, I can't believe you had that in the Word. I mean, that is so bad, so wicked. And God said that I'm just showing you that's how people are. And, you know, the more we discussed it that day, the more we realized it's the same as today. The Bible tells us nothing in here has occurred that hasn't already occurred.
That's right.
Nothing going on in this world right this second hasn't already happened in the Bible.
Amen. That's right.
They may not have had Cadillacs to cruise down the road at the low ride and thump, thump, thump going down the road, but they still had their donkeys, their shoes, whatever it was to get them wherever they needed to go, the wagons, the horses, the Model A's, I mean all that stuff. They had ways to get around where it is they need to go. Trains, planes, everything, okay?
There you go, yeah.
That is the way God does. God just makes things evolve so that everything can continue to go on, so everybody has the same opportunity to either serve Him or don't serve Him. I used to believe when I was growing up, I always told my mom, Mom, if God already knows everything, then why do we have to go through all of this stuff? Why do I have to keep going to school and learning all this stuff that I'm not probably ever going to use again? When on earth am I ever going to use algebra or geometry? You know, why? But she said, you go to school and you learn. I don't care. So we did what we're supposed to do. That's what we were told to do. Jesus tells us in the Word what we're supposed to do. A lot of things we may not understand it when we read it, but there's going to come a time where it's going to just go clear as a bell. That's what He was trying to tell us. Because He is preparing us for our next adventure. And believe it or not, folks, life is an adventure. Some days it is a roller coaster ride like I have never been on and never want to ever go back on ever again. I mean, there are roller coasters here on this earth right now that scare me to death. And I'm to the point now, I won't even get on one. I'm like, y'all have fun. There's lots of rides I won't get on because, I mean, you know, they say, if it'll fit around you, sir, you'll stay. And I'm like, oh, no, no, no. I don't care what you say. That thing has to have a weight limit on it. I'm quite sure I'm past that. No, sir, no, sir. This thing will hold 500 pounds. I'm like, how much do you think I weigh? Well, I'm not saying you weigh 500 pounds, sir, but it will hold you. I'm like, if I told you I weighed 5'10", you'd fall out of that chair with me. He goes, well, I probably would. And I said, well, I don't, but I'm just saying. We have to be prepared for everything that happens in our lives. Amen. God prepares us. He makes a way. He promises everything to us. If we are His children, the world is out there for you. If you don't have it, because of a problem that you see, you need to give that to the problem solver.
Amen.
And let Him provide for it. You understand? Promise, problem, provision. Provision, I will provide you for it. Don't worry about it. My wife, I use my wife a lot when I'm preaching, but I see my wife every day. For 35 years, I have seen her every day or talked to her every single day. I have talked to my wife every day. I may not see her every day, but I have talked to her every day. She is kind of a role model for me because I know her life. I see how she lives her life. I know what she does. And it's very hard to really catch her off color. But there's been a time or two in 35 years that I have witnessed something. I'm sorry, man, I gotta do this. We were at our house, and she had with stuff, okay? I mean, we have just moved from over here to way over here. My family came in, our family, our children came in with their children. So we've got tons and tons of people that are there that are supposed to come in to help us unbox stuff and put stuff away. Okay? But instead, they spend more time yickety-yakking each other about everything else in the world. But when it came time for dinner, what are we going to have, Dad? So I had to pray, Lord, provide dinner for these lazy people that aren't coming to So, dinner came. Easter Sunday came. Easter Sunday, we don't do nothing because it's Sunday. That is our day of rest. That is our day of friendship and fellowship. I wanted them to work Saturday so we could play Sunday.
Yeah.
They don't listen to Daddy no more because they don't live with Daddy no more. Even the one that does. She and I, we go round and round the fence post too many times. But this particular day, the day's wearing on, and my wife had unpacked this box the day before, set this one single plate on the table. And it just sat there. My beautiful little granddaughter comes up to the table and bumps the table. It slides off the table on the back of a chair. Didn't crack, didn't chip, didn't do nothing. My wife's like, my granddaughter's face is, I almost broke Gigi's plate. Oh my God, what is going to happen to me now? Am I going to be in trouble? What is going to go on? My wife grabs that plate, tries to open up the back door to throw it, and the back door was locked. I'm thinking, Lord, I don't know what's fixing to happen, but we got to stop this. She walks from there to the utility room, okay? That's probably the only non-carpeted room in the house that was clear. And she walks in there, and then you hear this. That plate exploded. It's Corel. When Corel goes, it goes all over everywhere.
Amen.
Well, needless to say, whenever my wife is carrying this plate around looking for some place to throw this plate, my son grabbed his 3 kids, his wife, out that front door into his car. My daughter grabbed her 2 kids and her husband. They're flying out the front door, and he's coming running in, looking, grabbing a suitcase, looking, throwing it in the car, trying to make sure they got everything to get out that door. My wife comes out, I'm standing there just shell-shocked. Lord Jesus, what just happened in here? Oh my God, what a big woman. Lord, is there a spirit in this house that we got to get out of here right now? I mean, we have not anointed this house yet, guys. We got to do something now. My wife comes out, happy as the Lord. Where'd everybody go? I'm looking at her like, are you serious? You want to know where everybody went? They all went flying out their front door and you start throwing plates. They don't know what's going to happen now. We got a whole cabinet full of plates. You can just start going in. Especially those plates that you're not happy with, like that one you just threw. That was a 25-year-old plate, but it didn't matter. We got a stack of plates this high that we bought for 10 cents a piece. I mean, she's talking about them at school. Her and the secretary of the school talking about these, and I go over there last night to pick it up. And she said, yeah, I've done that too. And they just go back and forth. And I'm standing there like, is this a woman thing that I have just missed somewhere? Lord, what is the deal? And my wife goes, he was just shocked and embarrassed because I broke the plate. He's never seen me do that before. She goes, but I've done it lots of times. I'm like, you've done it lots of times, and I'm always buying new plates because we don't have full sense of nothing anymore. So I'm trying to figure out, Lord, is this a thing here? What is the deal? What is going on here? But her secretary's married to a pastor of a church, and they start telling stories back and forth to each other. And before you know it, the story comes out about my wife wrecking my car and not saying nothing to me about it. She wrecked his church van, didn't say nothing to him about it. I'm like, Lord, I was never called to be a pastor. I know I was never called to be a pastor, so I don't know what all this is about. And God said, but you was called to be a minister. You used to fuss about, Lord, I don't have no that are there that are supposed to come in to help us unbox stuff and put stuff away. Okay? But instead, they spent more time yickety-yucking to each other about everything else in the world. But when it came time for dinner, what we're going to have, Dad? So I had to pray, Lord, provide dinner for these lazy people that aren't coming to dinner. So dinner came. Easter Sunday came. Easter Sunday, we don't do nothing because it's Sunday. That is our day of rest. That is our day of friendship and fellowship. I wanted them to work Saturday so we can play Sunday. Yeah. They don't listen to Daddy no more because they don't live with Daddy no more. Even the one that does. She and I, we go round and round the fence post too many times. But this particular day, the day's wearing on, and my wife had unpacked this box the day before, set this one single plate on the table. And it just sat there. My beautiful little granddaughter comes up to the table and bumps the table. It slides off the table on the back of a chair. Didn't crack, didn't chip, didn't do nothing. My wife's like, my granddaughter's face is, I almost broke Gigi's plate. Oh my God, what is going to happen to me now? Am I going to be in trouble? What is going to go on? My wife grabs that plate, tries to open up the back door to throw it, and the back door was locked. I'm thinking, Lord, I don't know what's fixing to happen. We got to stop this. She walks from there to the utility room, okay? That's probably the only non-carpeted room in the house that was clear. And she walks in there, and then you hear this. That plate exploded. It's Corral. When Corral goes, it goes all over everywhere. Amen. Well, needless to say, whenever my wife is carrying this plate around looking for someplace to throw this plate, my son grabbed his 3 kids, his wife, out that front door into his car. My daughter grabbed her 2 kids and her husband. They're flying out the front door, and he's coming running in, looking, grabbing a suitcase, looking, throwing it in the car, trying to make sure they got everything to get out that door. My wife comes out, I'm standing there just shell-shocked. Lord Jesus, what just happened in here? Oh my God, this woman is. Lord, is there a spirit in this house and we got to get out of here right now? We have not anointed this house yet, guys. We got to do something now. My wife comes out, happy as the Lord is. Where'd everybody go? I'm looking at her like, are you serious? You want to know where everybody went? They all went flying out their front door and you start throwing plates. They don't know what's going to happen now. We got a whole cabinet full of plates. You can just start going in. Especially those plates that you're not happy with, like that one you just threw. That was a 25-year-old plate, but it didn't matter. We got a stack of plates this high that we bought for 10 cents a piece. I mean, she's talking about them at school. Her and the secretary of the school talking about these. And I go over there last night to pick it up. And she said, yeah, I've done that too. And they just go back and forth. And I'm standing there like, is this a woman thing that I am just missing somewhere? Lord, what is the deal? And my wife goes, he was just shocked and embarrassed because I broke the plate. He's never seen me do that before. She goes, but I've done it lots of times. I'm like, you've done it lots of times, and I'm always buying new plate sets because we don't have full sets of nothing anymore. So I'm trying to figure out, Lord, is this a thing here? What is the deal? What is going on here? But her secretary is married to a pastor of a church, and they start telling stories back and forth to each other. And before you know it, the story comes out about my wife wrecking my car and not saying nothing to me about it. She wrecked his church man, didn't say nothing to him about it. I'm like, Lord, I was never called to be a pastor. I know I was never called to be a pastor, so I don't know what all this is about. And God said, but you was called to be a minister. You used to fuss about, Lord, I don't have nothing to preach about when I go to church because I was a pretty good kid growing up. Pretty good. I mean, when you're the oldest, you're going to toe the line.
Amen, brother.
Because you're the experiment kid.
Yep.
I mean, by the time Michael got here, nothing. I got all the rules made for it. Nothing for him.
Yes.
He's the baby.
Yes.
Richard, oh, I ain't gonna break that follow that rule. Don't even think about it. You make them, I'll break them. That's all it is. And that's what he did. He broke all the rules. That is the way life is. When you are called of God, God gives you things. And I was always worried that I wasn't nothing for me to preach on. I heard Brother Jacob preach the other night about how God delivered him from drugs. And I thought, well, God, I never was hooked on drugs. And God said, but you used to do them. You could have got hooked on them. And I remember one time I went to a friend's house. And we go downstairs from his apartment to the apartment down below. He says, here, have some of my wine. Now, I don't know if there's any wine connoisseurs in here, but let me tell you, Night Train is not a true wine. That stuff was nasty, and it makes you do crazy stuff. And I'm not even going to go into the stuff that I did that night. But God delivered me from all of that.
Amen.
God delivered me so that I would be here tonight to be able to tell you
Amen.
of God's promises, the problems that we create ourselves, and the provisions He provides to get us out of those problems. All we have to do is lean upon God. When I got here tonight, I was terrified of what I was going to do when I got up here tonight to speak. But when I was standing back there next to my wife and that song came on, I just felt the holy anointing just dumped out on me like a bucket of water. I mean, it was just, I just felt, oh, Lord, I love this. I love this feeling. I love this spirit. And then when I'm singing up there, and I just felt His power come, I thought, God, I just can't hold it. I just got to go. I just got to enjoy myself with you, God. And I let God have His way. We have to each let God have His way in our lives.
Yes.
I have seen Tammy and Rhonda and Patty and different ones in this church obey God and just let God do whatever He wanted to do. And the spirit changes in the church when you're obedient to the Lord.
That's right.
You want to be obedient to God? Let Him go. Lord, here I am. Just use me. Whatever you want to do, I'm ready. He will take care of it. He will do what He needs to do. Even if it is you're the one standing up here to preach, and God tells you to do a cartwheel down the middle of the church so that somebody upstairs that's an atheist will come flying down to the front and pray through. I knew it was God because you did a cartwheel. Because I told God, if you would, I'll give my life. And then He did it, and I had told nobody. That's the kind of God that I serve. Yeah. When those guys come to the doors and they knock, I'm selling this, I'm selling that. You know, most of us are like, oh, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to give you no credit card. I ain't got no money for you. I don't want no more stinking magazines. They're just gonna pile up in the corner of my living room and just keep getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger until somebody throws them in the recycle bin. Because I'm not gonna live long enough to see those worth anything more than the $2 I paid for. We have to let God have his way. His promise is salvation to you. And if we don't give into the problems that we create ourselves, God will deliver us from them. And he will give us heaven. That is what I want for everybody in here tonight, is to have heaven as your home. Sister Dolly got to go to heaven this week. You know, I was just so sad in myself because I'm not going to be able to see her for a while. But she made it in. She got to go. This is going to be a celebration at her funeral because we know where she went. We went to a funeral just last Thursday of my brother's mother-in-law. And she gave her life to God just the day before she passed away. Not everybody is going to have that opportunity.
That's right, brother.
Not all of us are going to be given the chance to pray through 5 minutes before we die, 2 days before we die, a week before we die. The opportunity could be tonight. This could be your last opportunity to pray through, to say, okay, God, I'm sorry. I had evil thoughts because my sister stole my whatever. My dad took my favorite shirt down and wore it and got a hole in it today. So I'm upset about that and whatever. We have to look beyond. It's just a shirt. It's just a thing. Who cares? Is it going to matter tomorrow? Is it going to matter next week? Is it going to be important in 5 years? Will you even remember it in 5 years? Probably not. But you give your life to the Lord, you will remember this day forever. Yes. I remember when I first gave my life to the Lord when I was a little kid. And I can remember standing on Brother Bennett's platform, and he told everybody in the church that this is my future preacher here. And I thought, I'm 12 years old, man. You don't know what I want to be. But he spoke it into existence, and I'm here today. We have to be obedient to whatever God lays out for us. We have to be ready to take that step, to step into whatever it is God has for us, right? That's what we have to do. I don't know what else that I can say to anybody else here tonight. Looking through this auditorium, most everybody in here I know. Most everybody in here that I know or that I know of, you're saved, sanctified, and most of you are filled with the Holy Spirit, Holy Ghost. But I don't know what happened to you today. I don't know what happened to you on the way to church, because I know as a Christian man, as a preacher man, driving to church many times the devil causes myths to happen.
Amen. That's right.
He can cause things to get you so wadded up with the driver in the car next to you. He can cause you to try and speed up, get around somebody, and that cop's waiting for you, and you get the ticket. And then you get all wadded up and you come to church and you don't have a good time in the Lord because you're upset over a ticket. Nobody's ever happy about a ticket. But you know what? It's just a little simple problem that God will provide a way out of it. I've had a couple since I've been back in Oklahoma. 3. I want to correct my brother. That's one of the things that's always trying to do. Gotta remind him, I'm older, I remember that. Just because you're younger, don't mean that. Just because you're the pastor. if there's anybody here tonight that needs prayer, if you want to come on up now, we will agree with you, and God will take care of it for you. I know that He will heal your bodies and He will make you whole. Whether He does it instantaneously tonight, does it when you get home, or before you leave your house in the morning, whenever it is, He will heal you. And even if you don't feel like you've been healed, and you don't feel like you've been made whole, you're going to have to stand upon His word and proclaim, I am healed. I am whole. I am exercising my faith that I am whole, that I am healed, that I am saved, sanctified, filled with the Holy Ghost. That is me.